Broadcasting from the University of Michigan, the Michigan Youth Caucus and the University of Michigan College Democrats present DEMTV. With your hosts, Josh Strasnick and Dana Kremen.
Tonight's top stories.
I'd rather die than have Dr. Kevorkian represent Michigan's 9th Congressional District.
And an exclusive interview with Governor Jennifer Granholm.
Broadcasting live from beautiful Ann Arbor, this is DEMTV.
Good evening, this is Dana Kremen.
And I'm Josh Strasnick, bringing you another edition of DEMTV.
A bi-weekly policy update brought to you by the Michigan Youth Caucus, the University of Michigan College Dems, and College Dems chapters from across the state.
We begin straight away tonight with news from Michigan's largest city, but it's not good news. Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick is, in the words of his paramour, Christine Beatty, officially busted, LOL. He faces 7 felony counts, including 1 count of perjury that could alone carry 15 years in prison. Unable to bear the duration of a Lakers-Pistons game without sexting, one can only imagine how much they will miss each other sexually after a decade and a half in the slammer. The new charge leaves us with an undeniable conclusion. If you want to lie under oath and endanger innocent people, it's best to be Dick Cheney's friend.
Next, we turn our attention to Michigan's 9th. Dr. Jack Kevorkian officially announced this week that he would be running for the United States House of Representatives in Michigan's 9th District, which is currently occupied by Republican Joel Nolenberg. Kevorkian, also known as Dr. Death, is famous for his campaign to legalize assisted suicide, promised to serve only 1 term if elected, saying, "I'm 79, almost 80. That's old." In his speech, Kevorkian also admitted that he has never been a political person and that he has only voted once in his life. Kevorkian is expected to name himself as an independent, and while scare tactics are generally looked down upon in modern-day politics, I'm sure to him they'll come naturally. Though he is not expected to come anywhere near winning, his bid could spell trouble for Democratic challenger Gary Peters, who hopes to take the 9th District in a race specifically targeted by the DCCC. Kevorkian, a far-left candidate, could trigger the Nader effect and end up handing the tight race to Republican Nolenberg. His campaign platform is currently being disputed by P. Diddy, who already claims to have merchandised the phrase, "vote or die."
Ooh, no good.
No good at all.
Alright, and we now turn it over to our weatherman, Dan Villamarin, for this week's forecast. Dan?
Live from satellite, too.
It's been a wild week for the nation's political climate, void of any sort of coherence. Beginning locally, residents of Detroit can expect a steamy front of text messages resulting in showers of felony charges. This system, dubbed Hurricane Kwame, is sure to be a doozy. Who knows what FEMA will respond to that one? Broadening our scope, the rest of Michigan will most likely experience a political drought, drying up the Great Lakes region's electoral voice this primary season. This drought is expected to cause a level 4 disenfranchisement. A hot 4-diamond tornado has torn a scandalous path from Albany to Washington, D.C., leaving Eliot Spitzer's political career in shambles and his wallet significantly lighter. Causing traffic on the drive down to the White House, a recurring storm known as El Nader claims to be watering the Green Party's plans in this year's race, pissing everyone else off in the process. It was reported that in Chicago, there has been a fire said to be raining down from heaven. This storm seems to have been ignited by comments made by the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, as a presidential candidate Barack Obama has been feverishly trying to put it out. It has also been reported that members of the Clinton campaign were spotted blowing into the flames. And finally, here in Ann Arbor, can expect a flood of solidarity to encompass the entire campus as GEO stages its work stoppage to engulf the university, as the administration attempts to build up shoddy barriers made of minor concessions. We can only hope that the campus-wide saturation lasts for at least 48 hours. And back to you guys.
Thanks, Dan. Returning to the mitten once again, surprising news was released by the Census Bureau, which said that the population of the state of Michigan has actually risen since 2003 by 1.3%. That's 2000 by 1.3%. The western side of the state, led by Kent County with Grand Rapids, has gained population, while the southeast, especially Wayne County, has lost population. This news comes as a complete shock. Dick DeVos told us during the governor's race that population was streaming out of the state. We had assumed that with another year and a half since Governor Granholm was reelected that most of the state was a barren wasteland, and that outside of campus, whole cities were now ghost towns. If Dick DeVos was lying about this, could he possibly have been lying about some of his other claims during the campaign? If we can't trust the Michigan Republican Party, who can we really trust?
Now, in serious news, it was reported that Detroit Police Department is currently searching for a man who is said to have robbed a wig store. The suspect is described as being 5 foot 8 inches tall, 20 to 25 years of age, 160 pounds, and being capable of singing all of the words to a chorus line. This is an especially frightening situation because, as we all know, the amount of crime in Detroit has been both diminishing and relatively trivial. And therefore, it is enlightening to know that fighting wig robbery has become the city's top priority.